Hi everyone! In this video, we are going to continue to see the prehistoric and ancient Mediterranean world. In the previous video, we learned Mesopotamia and Egypt. In this video, we are going to see Greece and Rome. In Mesopotamia, we saw city-states by Sumerian, and First Empire by Akkadian, and Second Empire by Babylonian, and Third Empire by Assyrian, and the last empire by Neo-Babylonian. And we learned Egypt. The Greece comes from Aegean culture. The artistic cultures of the Aegean parallel in time those of Egypt and Mesopotamia. And the last period of Greece is called Hellenism. And Rome. Rome began before the century and continued to the 4th century. So now let's briefly see the Aegean culture first before the Greece. Greek culture arose on the lands bordering sea, the Aegean Sea. There are 3 Aegean major cultures: the Cycladic, the Minoan, and Mycenaean. The Cycladic is centered on a group of small islands in the Aegean. Cycladic art is a puzzle because we know almost nothing about the people who made it. It consists almost exclusively of nude female figures. The Minoan culture is based on the island of Crete at the southern end of the Aegean. Centered on the great city of Knossos, Minoan culture can be traced to the about 3000 BCE. We take the name from a legendary king called Minos, who supposedly ruled at Knossos. The palace at Knossos features post and lintel construction with painted columns topped by pillow-like capitals. Mycenaean culture, so called because it formed around the city of Mycenae, flourished on the south coast of the Greek mainland. Mycenaeans built palaces and temples, but they are also noted for their elaborate burial costumes and tombs like Egyptians. Burial places in and around Mycenae have yielded large quantities of exquisite gold objects, such as a lyton in the shape of a lion's head. Now let's see Greece and Rome. The word classical refers to 2 cultures, Greece and Rome. It aesthetically indicates artwork of the highest quality and standards. Greek philosophers were the first to speculate on the nature and purpose of art. Sculpture, painting, and architecture were discussed as techne, in our words, technology and technique. Techne is things requiring a special body of knowledge and skill to make. There are 3 artistic periods in Greek art. First is the Archaic period, and the next period is the Classical period. And the last period is the Hellenistic period. Let's see Archaic period first. This is called crater, and crater is one of many standard Greek pottery shapes. A crater was a vessel used for wine. This is Kouros. Greek statue depicts an anonymous boy. Thousands of such figures were carved, all of them in the same pose, and all nude, young, and idealized, with broad-shouldered, slim waist and bodies. And Greek female statue is called Kore. The painting technique on the pottery is called red figure style. The ground is painted black, while figures are left mostly unpainted, with only thin black lines to describe the forms. The red that results is the natural color of fired earth. Earlier, archaic pottery had employed the reverse color scheme, with black figures painted on a red ground. Now we see the classical period of Greece. The classical period dates from 480 to 323 BCE. It is considered to be the height of Greek art. The Greeks invented contrapposto pose to express the potential for motion inherent in a standing human. Bronze was the favored material for freestanding sculpture in ancient Greece. So let's compare these two styles of Greek sculptures, archaic sculpture versus classical sculpture. The left one is archaic Kouros sculpture, and it was an amazing achievement to create a standing human sculpture. But despite of the great achievement, it still looked unnatural and less detailed. And the movement is very limited. We can find the movement only on the left foot. However, the classical contrapposto sculpture shows incredibly natural movement, and it has lots of details, very realistic. And we can tell this is the height of Greek art. So although all ancient Greek and Rome art is broadly known as classical, the art produced during classical period of Greece was considered by later European scholars to be the finest of the finest. Athens was the cultural and artistic center at this time. Athens, which was the shape of the city-states, had been built around the high hill or Acropolis. This is Parthenon at Acropolis. Greeks dedicated to the goddess Athena's Parthenos, or Athena, the warrior maiden. The Parthenon is a Doric-style temple with columns all around the external and an inner row of columns on each of the short walls. So this is Doric style that the Parthenon has. So the Doric style's columns are not straight. However, tall columns may appear to bend inward at the center. So they look absolutely straight. That is called entasis. And the last period of Greek art is called Hellenistic and begins about 323 BCE. This style emphasizes balance and restraint while also favoring dynamic poses and extreme emotion. The sculptures of this era pose with theatrical quality and complex poses. There is a video about Hellenistic art in this section of Modern Room. Please watch it to see more beautiful Hellenistic art. So now we can recognize the different styles by the Greek art period. The archaic period shows the limitation of the movement, and the classic period shows the completed technique to create natural and classic freestanding sculpture. And the Hellenistic period shows emotions and dynamic movement beyond the classic. The Roman era begins about 510 BCE. It overlaps the Greek era. The Romans admired Greek art and copied many of their works. And Roman art tends toward realism. So as you can see on the left wall painting, all the figures look very natural and realistic. The Romans were best known for their architecture and engineering. Their most famous monument is the Colosseum. The Colosseum covers over 6 acres, and it has 80-acre entryways and exits. And it's accommodated over 50,000 people. It is truly symbol of Rome. And I hope you enjoyed to see all the ancient art through this chapter. Bye.